So hey, how are you doing today?
We're doing really good, actually.
Yeah, very good.
We, the last couple of days we have, we haven't been doing anything except,
Enjoying the city. I really like this city.
Okay.
It's really good. Yeah.
So before going into the music of Skalmold, what's your first music memory?
First music memory? Probably me playing air guitar to some children's songs at my grandmother's house. Playing air guitar to Ómar Ragnarsson.
I think one of my fondest memory, at least, is when I'm not allowed into my uncle's room, so I'm sitting outside next to the door and listening to John Lennon through the and then some Queen songs, and I was not allowed in the room, but I could sit for hours outside his bedroom and listen to.
Why weren't you allowed in the room?
Because I was small and he was cool, and he didn't want to have this little kid.
Yeah, it's the same thing today. you tend to sit outside your uncle's bedroom listening to music.
Oh yeah. I like listening to music. I always like that. So music is always like.
Well, you're both guitarists.
Yes.
What attracted you in that instrument to pick up and start playing it?
I don't know. But I do. When we were 12 years old, almost 13, in our small village back home in Iceland, and we had been listening to. We started listening to Kiss, and then some Iron Maiden and Metallica and early Metallica and stuff, and we decided to form our own band. And we basically, agreed that you will play the drums, you will play the bass, and you two will play the guitar. And then we bought instruments and started playing. So those three guys are probably to blame. Because I have always dreamed about being a drummer, but I can't play a beat to save my own life, unfortunately.
I don't think that the band will be a band if you drum.
Probably not, but that's the reason why I play the guitar.
Yeah. My mom had a guitar, so since I was like, I can't even remember. It's just I went to the guitar and I was always trying to make some noise, breaking strings mostly. So she would like teach me how to do some chords and stuff. And then again, you saw Kiss, and your father was playing guitar. I wanted to be like that. So guitar has always been something that you can always grab. You can always, play a little melody and something and start writing songs. And I remember my friend actually learned to play the piano, and he said, "Hey, you're gonna play your mom's guitar, and I will play the piano." He was just starting to learn, and I didn't know any chords, so he would tell me, "Okay, do this note, and we will just find those notes on a badly tuned guitar." So the first chords were very strange, but it was a lot of fun.
You both mentioned Kiss and Metallica, maybe. How did you get into metal?
Yeah, that's
probably an uncle or something. Who I remember. My uncle gave me a Deep Purple album, and Deep Purple is one of my favorite bands. And Ritchie Blackmore, the greatest guitar player ever, he is God. And then Kiss was just like, I was probably 5 or 6 years old when I bought my first Kiss record, because it was cool.
And I think probably for almost every, kid growing up in Iceland at the time where we were growing up, probably all kids had some uncles or relatives that had Kiss albums.
Yeah,
that could be the reason.
Huge, yeah.
And I remember me and father of one of my closest friends, he had Kiss albums and Iron Maiden albums and AC/DC, and we were just really small when we were starting to listening to it and trying to draw the logos and stuff.
Yeah, I would always try to draw the logos. And Iron Maiden covers, I mean, my dad didn't like them, so that was way more cool, you know.
Yeah. But then it somehow just graduated from that to, you know,
Sepultura,
early Metallica, Slayer, then Sepultura and death metal, and I'm kind of stuck there.
Yeah, we didn't want to go from that. After you, I'll never forget when I got Beneath the Remains by Sepultura. That just changed everything. I was like, oh fuck, this is actually, this is something.
And how did you get from there to starting Skálmöld?
We were always just listening to metal, whether it was cool or not. I mean, I've always practiced for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours every day, you know what I mean? Even though I wasn't playing in a metal band. So when Bubby and the bass player decided to start a metal band, they kind of knew who to call, you know what I mean? The guys who are actually listening to metal music and have been practicing a bit.
Yeah. We, at least for me, I had been playing in some metal bands when I was a teenager, and we had never recorded anything. And then when I got a little older, I almost stopped playing the guitar for a lot of years. And you know, then like
But you've always been listening to metal.
Yeah. But that it's almost 5 years ago. Me and Snæbjörn, our bass player, we had always been discussing that we should form a metal band again, and that's why we founded Skálmöld. It was just, you know, we have to at least, you know, record one decent metal album before we grow too old and tired.
And we actually thought that we would have like all the albums. We were like 1,000 copies of the first pressing, and we were like, okay, we'll probably have every one of us like 200 albums under our bed, you know, to give out to relatives or something. Nobody will buy it, years, but we'll be proud of this album. This will be our, you know.
That was our only goal.
Yeah,
you know,
just something that we can be proud of and happy.
But what changed then? Why did you decide to take it from hobby to a serious?
It just happened.
The album sold out, you know, and we were like, what? And it just happened, and then all of a sudden we got a call from Napalm Records that they want to sign us. So we were okay, let's try that, and things just evolved. It's crazy. We were not planning on doing this. It's just we started this just because we love the music and we want to do this forever. I mean, we would still be doing it, just meeting once, twice a week to play metal music. Yeah, but this is just an added bonus.
Yeah, all the traveling and stuff is just
but
nice bonus.
I hear your band name refers to a violent time in Icelandic history.
Yeah.
It's used to describe the only civil war that was in Iceland in the 13th century.
Yeah. And why that name then?
Skalmold. It's cool.
When we started the band, we had, you know, we wanted to have the music and the lyrics inspired by our history, our, you know, Viking heritage and stuff. So of course we needed a band name that would suit that purpose. So we started looking up some you know, names that referred to this era, and Skalmold was just the name that
was the coolest. Yeah. Blood Eagle was another one.
Yeah. That's not cool. In hindsight, that's not cool. But yeah.
Well, you mentioned the Viking history already. How did you get connected to those stories?
in general or just for
in
the
general.
band?
Well, yeah, well, in general.
We just growing up. It's everywhere back home. It's the history. You know, wherever you go, you see a place where the Vikings were. I mean, it's just something that you grow up with.
And something that is
tales.
It's taught in elementary schools and stuff. You know.
All the names of every place back home is, you can trace it back to, oh, this Viking came here and he decided that this was his land, so the names are all connected to the stories. Whether they are true or not, but old stories, and it just grows on you. It's same with folk songs and tales of, you know, elves and, you know, even the government, when they are building roads, I mean, if there's a elf stone, big stone that actually is where they will have the road, they will pass the stone. You know, they won't break the stone away. So, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People believe it, but they don't believe it. So it's, you know what I mean? Just something that you I don't know how to explain it.